Evening. Welcome to the Town of Penfield Parks and Recreation Advisory Board Committee meeting. Today is February 10th, 6 p.m. Tuesday. Good evening, everybody. First item of business is to approval of the minutes of January 13th. So everybody had a chance to review those. Any other changes?
Nope.
Okay, so we'll approve the minutes. First item for discussion is the active transportation plan. There's a open house meeting at the Penfield Community Center, February 24th, from 5 to 7.
Yep, I just wanted to highlight both of these first two discussion topics, mainly because looking at our Parks and Recreation Master Plan update from 2024, some really big concepts and pieces that we have in that plan, both the Active Transportation Plan and Community Facility Improvement Plan touch upon. So the Active Transportation Plan already has a year under its belt of gathering community feedback and getting out there. So that meeting is more presenting more information about what's been found and certainly continuing to gather some input. But that's going to be on February 24th. So definitely want, trail connectivity, how, sidewalks are out there, how do people move with cars, bicycles, all the above. So the big part of our master plan that we focused on, how do we connect different parks and properties for the community? Obviously, active transportation is a big part of that. So interested to hear kind of what the group has put together so far based on the feedback and see what other feedback comes from it.
Andrew, is there any information being presented ahead, a draft version or anything, or is we just go and listen to what they have to say?
I don't believe, I know that they've been doing it at the Transportation Committee level, and I apologize, I haven't kept up on those meetings, but I do know that this meeting will provide a lot of information. I'm sure if it's not before, after that meeting, more will be posted to the town's website about it.
So you don't know if there's an official presentation, it's just the information will be available?
I'm not sure on presentation for that one.
Okay.
I'm assuming just because a lot of it's public feedback that's been gathered and this is what they've heard. I can't speak to a formal presentation. I can get that information, and I know that's going to be shared by the town as we get closer. But definitely wanted to put it on people's radar just because that's directly related to our Parks and Rec Master Plan.
We should go and find out.
There you go.
Then the second item is the Community Facilities Improvement Plan. There's a public information meeting on March 2nd, Monday, also at the Penfield Community Center.
Yep, and that one is going to start at 5:30. That one will have a formal presentation. Compared to the Active Transportation Plan, this is actually the first meeting that the town is holding with BNL, the firm that is going to be hosting all of this stuff. So really, this is their first kind of information gathering session. So obviously we want, for both these projects, as much community feedback as possible. With the Community Facility Improvement Plan, this is looking at town hall, the library, town courts, recreation, really all of our properties with various, what's the current state, what is the town looking at, what does the community want? Certainly with a lot of these bigger ticket items, there's costs associated with that. So I think the town's really looking at, the Parks and Rec Master Plan, we focused on a rec center. We got great feedback through our survey and through that process. The library's done it through surveys as well on what would they like for their building. So all of these different departments in town have kind of gathered community feedback. I look at now the town taking it as a whole to say, all these pieces are out there. What potentially could work? What could we see down the line in a long-term plan? So whether it's fields, an athletic turf field that's enclosed, Little League complex, all of the above is open for discussion. So I think it's going to be really, really good to get as much feedback as possible because a lot of these bigger ticket items, costs are involved. And that's kind of, I think, the big thing moving forward of if we're hearing from the community what they want, how do we get there down the line? And it started with all of these different master plans, but this is taking it to that next level as a whole for the town.
Would any formal feedback from this committee help with that? Or, I mean, do we just go as an individual? Or, the reason I ask is because we see the challenges every month, like with scheduling, specifically in recreation. But like something from us saying that we see those challenges every month and it's something that the community needs?
I think at this point, we haven't discussed anything formal from committees or anything like that. There's going to be multiple public information sessions. It was discussed of potentially having one of those at a meeting like this, but I think a lot of that is going to be based on what this first public information session happens, what feedback they get, and then it'll kind of maneuver around. We're going to have display boards up at the community center with information, so if people don't make the meeting, they can still interact with those display boards that are left out, similar to what we do at Town Hall here for a couple projects. There's also going to be an online community survey that once this public info meeting in early March happens, that survey will get pushed out to the community. So many different ways to provide feedback. But I think potentially for this committee, at some point, information will be shared, whether it's a formal presentation or a meeting or just discussions that we can have to maybe pass up to town board once the plan is kind of completed. And I believe that the timeline for the plan is the majority of spring and summer 2026. So trying to pack it all into this year and get as much feedback as possible.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the Penfield Trails Committee update. So Don, will you cover that?
Yeah, I can.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we had a hike Friday night. So Trails Committee typically does their hikes on the second Saturday of every month. The one exception is in February, and we do a night hike. All week we watch the weather very closely, and quite fortunate, the Arctic blast hit about 6 hours after we finished. So it was advertised as a full moon hike. I think it actually turned into more of a snow globe hike. Really pretty nice. We had mid-20s, light winds, snow falling, nice snowpack. So we had beautiful, ambient light. Really good turnout. We had 14 community hikers, 5 from the Trails Committee. So, on a winter's night, that's pretty good. A few people had never hiked at night and thought that was pretty nice. So it worked out quite well. Fortunate, but well. Yeah, so our next hike is back on the Saturday cadence, March 14th, so the second Saturday in March. And we do 1 or 2 a year outside of Penfield. This is one we're doing at the Webster Park that's called Whiting Road Nature Preserve. So we did this one last year. It's a really extensive network of shared use trails. And so we'll kind of, we can do it again this year and do a different set of trails. We'll kind of gauge the number of people that show up and their abilities. We can do it real easily. We can, find some hills. So we'll see and what the weather is. March conditions can be quite variable. So we'll keep close eye on that. And then Saturday, then we're into kind of full spring. Saturday, April 11th is 1,000 Acre Swamp. So that's our short-term view.
Sounds great. Thank you very much. The next item in the agenda is the Penfield Parks update.
Snow removal.
I can see that.
That's pretty much what we've been up to for the past month. Just wanted to give props to everybody that's been involved with that. Between the sewer department, facilities, highway, parks, we all have a hand in snow removal, be it doorways, sidewalks, the roads, that kind of thing, to keep our buildings open and roads open and our sidewalks open. So just wanted to give kudos to everybody that was involved in that, or is still involved in that, but hopefully we're through the most of it. But,
Was it 24 out of 25 days?
so it was about 20 days in a row, and then we did the couple calculations. It's probably about like 28 out of 30 days, give or take. So
Kudos to you.
it's been a lot of early mornings the last month.
And then the next item is the Shadow Pines Property Shared Use Trail Project update.
Yep, so we had RFPs that were due at the end of January. We received 3 formal RFPs. Town staff are currently reviewing them. We'll decide if we need to have interviews with the firms or if we can make a decision or at least a recommendation and then start to talk about it at the town board level. So looking forward to seeing kind of that project and seeing what happens in the future.
Traditionally, how many we usually get? Is 3 low, is 3 high? Does it depend on the project, how detailed it is?
I think it all depends on the project. I know for some of the community facilities improvement plan, I think we had about 7 people that we interviewed, and then other ones there was just 3. So it all depends on the type of project that we have working.
Okay, thanks.
Is there a time frame for any particular action at this point? or-
We're hoping as a staff within the next week or so to at least decide if we want to make a recommendation or if we need to go to interviews. We're hoping by the end of this month to at least have some discussion with town board, possibly into March.
Okay.
Are you at liberty to say who submitted the RFPs?
I don't think at this point. Certainly that'll all be discussed at the board level, but I think if we're still kind of figuring it out, we'll keep it close to the vest.
Okay.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is the Penfield Recreation update. Shoot that over to Andrew.
So I'm happy to report our recreation software updates with Vermont Systems, which was credit card processing software, as well as hardware for credit card machines that have tap capability, swipe and insert, which we just had a swipe before, so a lot more easier customer service. People with their phones can now tap, in person. All of that stuff went super smooth at the end of January. Can't thank our IT department, finance department for their involvement in helping, but it literally was on February 1st, we turned on the new credit card system, and whatever wood is around that I'll knock, we have not had an issue up to this point. We also had our servers that were cloud-based servers owned and operated by the town of Penfield. We are now migrated to Vermont Systems, who's our recreation software company. They're now hosting our servers. The kind of thought was last year was summer camp, processing speeds, overall performance of updates with our IT staff and different consultants. It just made sense to have that company who already does all of that stuff oversee it. We're thinking that we might even be able to save some costs with the credit card savings compared to the previous company, but we'll have to wait kind of at least 6 months to a year to see comparatively to previous years. But just really thankful that we're able to move forward with this just from a customer service standpoint. Again, night and day with less bot attacks on our system, which seemed like it was an every other day occurrence where they'd be attacking our system, slowing our processing. Now our firewalls are a lot more up to date with Vermont Systems. So,
And I believe you said the last time we talked about this, there was like a 3-year contract with them or something like that, so that hopefully, we'll be in a good spot for a short couple, 3 to 5 years.
we do an annual contract with them.
Okay.
The nice thing, though, like I was saying before, with technology, updates seem to roll out every couple months. Before we were, I was processing those and working with our IT to perform the updates, some a little bit more technical than I know what I'm doing, to get IT involved, which, again, was a little more assistance than what probably other groups use. But now that we're hosted by Vermont Systems, they take care of all of those things with updates and just give us the heads up. So that'll be a lot less time that myself and IT need to perform those updates, less time that our system is down for maintenance for those updates. So again, just great customer service for that. So thankful we're moving forward.
Great.
For our rec programming, all this software stuff has really guided us towards our upcoming summer camp registration that begins on March 4th at 10 a.m. for Penfield residents only. We're working with Vermont Systems to monitor their servers just to make sure that things go smoothly. They have the ability for someone to kind of be virtually just watching our system on that day and time and monitoring it, similar to how, I do like Ticketmaster, which probably isn't the best company to talk about customer service for some people, but you go in kind of waiting line queues if the system gets overloaded. So we're looking to set those up for summer camp just in case we need it, the extra processing speed. So working with them to hopefully make better customer service than previous years for that registration date. We're kind of anticipating anywhere from 800 to 1,000 households going online within a 2-minute span at 10 a.m. So again, doing our best to provide the best customer service, and any feedback that we've received for the last couple of years, we've taken in and looking to improve that. For our upcoming town Penfield events, we have a family Valentine's dance this Friday, February 13th at the Community Center from 5 to 7 p.m. We'll have dancing in the gym. We'll have picture room. We'll also have dogs that we had last year that are able to take pictures with families. We'll have arts and crafts, and then we have refreshments in our community room, as well as our sandwich counter will be open for people to purchase dinner, sandwiches, things like that. But this is the second year we've done it. It was successful last year. We're hoping to build on last year's success. And then overall, for our 2026 Town of Penfield events, we just recently had an events committee meeting to really look at, our concerts, Independence Day and other things. All of that stuff's coming together with booking groups. With this year being the 250th year anniversary for the United States, we're looking to do extra things for Independence Day, kind of leading up to the 4th, and more information will be shared out once that's confirmed. But multiple departments throughout town doing different programs, ideas, events during that week. We're excited to kind of celebrate that stuff.
Yeah, the one question I'm getting is what's the date of the parade? Has that
So-
been figured out yet or still in process?
It's still being discussed. We're leaning towards the Saturday before, which is similar to what we've done in the past. So I believe that is going to be the date unless anything changes. But I believe if we do something on the 27th, we're then looking to do different programs leading up to the 4th to kind of celebrate it a little bit extra.
Okay. Other business, anybody have anything else they'd like to discuss that we didn't add to the agenda?
I can just say oh, I'm sorry, that's held item, sorry. I'll wait till the next one.
Okay. Now we're on to held items. Go ahead, Roger.
I was just going to say, I saw a mock-up of one of the trail maps for the kiosks today. So not to put pressure on Don or anything, but I know those are somewhat available, possibly next meeting. We could maybe share some of those maps, but excited for all the work that you guys have put into the passport and the maps. It looks awesome. So I'm excited to have those go into the kiosks.
He did pick the easiest one.
Of course, yeah.
To start with.
But that might be a goal. I'm not trying to push anything, but excited to share that as spring comes out and more people are hitting the
Yeah, so
trails.
we had a working meeting in January, the Trails Committee, and it was pretty universal. We went through, there really are 6 parks properties within the town that we have hiking trails in. So we've, focused on those, and they range in size and, uniqueness. And so we kind of stepped through each one, with a kiosk approach, looked at other examples from the area and, settled on things that we liked and different ways to handle the different size of the parks and complexity of the trail networks. And it kind of really sorted out as a design guide, that you could then apply what's relevant and appropriate for any given park. And Joel was mentioning that, the Scouts might do these, or Rotary Club, and, so I wasn't sure, maybe we can even talk after a little bit, if the Trails Committee was just going to go forward and do all of them, or if we're just going to kind of create the guide, and I wasn't really sure. But in the meantime, the town engineer has gone ahead on the kiosk. That's pretty straightforward. Some of the trail signage, we have ideas. We don't have good cost information, so I'm not sure what we'd be asking for. So I'm trying to work on that in the background a little bit. But yeah, it's coming together pretty well.
I won't hold you to the next meeting, but I just saw them today, and I was very excited about all the hard work and
Yeah.
effort you guys have put
I
into
mean,
it. They came
we
out
could do the
really
quick
nice.
presentation with sort of the design guide and show whatever is available as an example. We can do that.
Yeah, and maybe that would be a good discussion for this committee to look at all the work that you guys have put in, and we can put in our kind of thoughts on it, if it's not completely wrapped up, but,
Okay.
yeah, good stuff moving
We'll sign
forward
an
as
action item to
spring
the-
approaches.
To the Trails Committee.
Yeah.
Next on the old business, trail map updates, and then Thousand Acre Swamp, any updates on any of those two items at this point? I know those are kind of long-term, so we've just kind of left them there.
No, there's no new information on the connection trail from Rothfuss. So most of the work is on the Nature Conservancy side of the line.
Correct.
And last I'd heard, they had an RFP out, very similar to our RFP, looking for some formal costs and detailed engineering input. I haven't heard whether they've closed that, if they, I'm not sure, so we'll try to get status on that. And then the trail maps, I think, from the passport perspective, I think, all the information has been provided, and there's been some back and forths, and I think the engineer has what he needs, and we're seeing, we saw this first example come out. And I think the passport's ready for the next printing, as far as I know. So I think that's all good. We did decide to add the north side of Shadow Pines to and so, that's something we were thinking we'd wait, but decided there's enough information to be awfully close, if not spot on. There's an effort to formalize that trail network, and we may add an additional trail or two. So, coming together.
Okay. And then we have no new business items on this current agenda. So next, we'll move to the public feedback. Andrew, have you received any you would like to share?
Always receiving feedback, nothing that was requested for this committee. Yeah.
Okay. So our next meeting will be March 10th, 6 o'clock at the Penfield Town Hall. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.